Welcome to another episode. Today's question is the concept of time a problem of physics, philosophy, or psychology? Is the concept of time a problem of physics, philosophy, or psychology? That is the question today. Go beyond time into the timeless. Our answer is go beyond the time into the timeless. Anyway, we will see the explanation of time in length as it's a difficult topic. So we will see that. Time is the subject matter of all the three. Answer to the question is time is the subject matter of all the three: physics, philosophy, and psychology. And also one more subject, that is spirituality. Time space are interrelated. Brief introduction in respective field about is given below. But in spirituality, chronological time exists. But should psychological time exist? No. We will see in detail. Since it is a complicated subject, even a short references here has together made a lengthy explanation. What then is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain to him who asks, I know not. This is by Augustine. That is, his answer would be, if someone asks him what is time, his answer would be, I don't know. This is Confessions in 400 AD by Saint Augustine. Then some extract from exactly what is time, philosophy of time. Philosophers have been grappling with the nature of time since the time of Aristotle and even before. All animals except humans live in continual present, with no sense of the temporal distinctions of past, present, and future. Our consciousness of time is therefore one of the most important distinguishing features of humankind, and one of the things that truly separates us from the lower animals. It comes as no surprise then that from time immemorial, philosophers, teachers, and theologians have speculated on the true nature of time. Does time have a substance? And if so, what is it made of? How do we know that time really exists? Does time have a beginning and an end? Is it a straight line or a circle? There is general agreement among philosophers that time is continuous. That is, we do not experience it as stopping and starting or darting about at random, and that it has an intrinsic direction or order. That is, we all agree that events progress from past to present to future. There is also a more or less general agreement that it is objective and not subjective, or dependent on its being consciously experienced, which is borne out by the almost universal agreement on the time order of so many events, both psychological and physical, and the fact that so many different physical processes bear consistent time relations to each other. Example, the rotation of the earth, the frequency of oscillation of pendulum, etc. However, even given that many different opinions and approaches to what time actually is have been put forward over centuries. Physics of time. In the sciences generally, time is simply what a clock reads. But this hides a whole host of different conceptions of time used in physics. Physics is the only science that explicitly studies time. But even physicists agree that time is one of the most difficult properties of our universe to understand. Even in the most modern and complex physical models, though time is usually considered to be an ontologically basic or primary concept and not made up of or dependent on anything else. In the sciences generally, time is usually defined by its measurement. It is simply what a clock reads. Physics in particular often requires extreme levels of precision in time measurement. which has led to the requirement that time be considered an infinitely divisible linear continuum and not quantized. Quantized means composed of discrete and indivisible units. Discrete units and indivisible units. With modern atomic time standards like TAI and UTC and ultra-precise atomic clocks, time can be measured to an accuracy of 1 second error in approximately 30 million years. That is, we are so accurate that an error of 1 second in 30 million years is only coming. So it is so accurate nowadays with the atomic clocks. Psychology of time. How an individual experiences and perceives time can vary immensely. Various aspects of time, whether it is absolute or relative, real or unreal, etc., have been discussed in some detail in the sections in philosophy of time and physics of time. Here, however, we turn to matters of how an individual experiences and perceives time, and here things become even less definite and concrete. Time perception refers to the subjective experience of the passage of time or the perceived duration of events, which can differ significantly between different individuals and or in different circumstances. Although physical time appears to be more or less objective, psychological time is subjective and potentially malleable. The biopsychology of our perception of time is a fascinating but little understood area of psychology and neuroscience. It looks at the way our brain processes time and time intervals, and the brain's built-in expectation of the order and speed of events, as well as the field of mental chronometry. Most organisms have an internal sense of the time generated by endogenous biological clocks, completely independent of ambient temperatures, sunlight, etc. The best known of this is circadian clock, which maintains daily biological rhythms and regulates sleep, hormone production, etc. But there are also other peripheral biological clocks, some of which follow ultradian or infradian rhythms. A whole field of chronobiology has grown up to exploit our increasing knowledge of these biological rhythms, temporal illusions or distortions, and misperceptions of time that arise from a variety of psychological and other causes. The most commonly encountered examples are the effects of aging and psychoactive drugs on time perception, but there are several other interesting effects, such as the Kappa effect, the stopped clock illusion, the oddball effect, etc. The chronophobia is the fear of time or passing of time, a specific, well-documented psychological phobia which principally affects the elderly and those incarcerated in prisons. Next, we will see time on the emergence of time, in quantum gravity by Butterfield. Arguably, our present theory's concept of time stems from our psychological awareness of the temporal ordering of events, a property that is reflected mathematically in physics by the use of the real numbers, a totally ordered system, to represent points in time. In turn, these real numbers are regarded as the temporal coordinates in a four-dimensional differentiable manifold, whose remaining three coordinates represent space. For Newtonian physics, this distinction between temporal and spatial coordinates is a fundamental ingredient in the corresponding theories. In the case of relativity theory, special or general, the distinction is coded in a metric tensor, essentially a mathematical structure that specifies both spatial lengths and temporal intervals between points in a unified space-time. The Fabric of the Cosmos by Borland R. Green. Arrow of time. We take for granted that there is a direction on the way the things unfold in time. Eggs break, but they don't unbreak. The candles melt, but they don't unmelt. Memories are of the past, never of the future. People age, they don't unage. These asymmetries govern our lives. The distinction between forward and backward in time is the prevailing element of the experiential reality. If forward and backward in time exhibited the same symmetry we witness between left and the right, or back and forth, the world would be unrecognizable. Eggs would unbreak as often as they broke. Candles would unmelt as often as they melted. We would remember as much about the future as we do about the past. People would unage as often as they aged. Certainly, such a time-symmetric reality is not our reality. But where does time asymmetry come from? What is responsible for this most basic of all properties? Next we will see J.Krishnamurti's tradition and revolution. The brain cells are used to movement in time. They are the residue of the time. Time is movement. A movement within the space which it creates as it moves. When the mind sees this, when it sees the futility of all movement in the sense of time, then all movement ends. So when the mind denies totality of movement, therefore all time, all thought, all memory, there is absolute quietness, not relative quietness. What is time to you? Is it the movement of the past through the present to the future, not only in space-time, but also inwardly from yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Or is it time, that which is involved in covering physical or psychological distance? The time to achieve, the time to fulfill, to arrive. Or is time an ending as death? Or is time the memory of the pleasant or unpleasant happening? Time to learn a technique or time to forget. All these involve time. Time is not a concept. We know time as a sense of duration, as clock time. Time as duration approaches continuity and an ending. There is not only physical time by the watch, but also psychological inward time. Time by the watch is very clear. Going to the moon requires clock time. Is there any other time? And thought is time. Thought which says, I have been and I will become. If thought functioned only in the movement of the physical, is there any other time? If there is no psychological being, psychological ending, is there a time? We always associate physical time with psychological time and therefore say, I'll be. The verb to be is time. Within the prison you can operate, but it is always within the field of time. Cause, effect, effect, cause are within the field of time. Memory, experience, knowledge are within time. And thought is the response of all that. If I have no memory, I cannot think. I will be in the state of amnesia. And thought is the response of the memory. Thinking is within the field of time because it is put together through experience, knowledge, memory, and memory is part of the brain cells. So thought can never move out of the field of time because thought is never free. Thought is always old. Between the intervals of two thoughts, one may come upon something new and translate it in terms of the time. There is gap between two thoughts. In that interval, there might be a different perception, and translation of that perception is time. But the perception itself is not of time. Next, we will see an extract from Osho, The Last Morning Star by Osho. The present is not part of time. Ordinarily, you say that time is divided into three parts: past, present, and future. That is wrong. Present is not part of time. The past and the future are parts of time. The present is part of the eternal. It is beyond time. It is transcendental to time. It is beyond death. Time has to be big belly. Has a big belly. The stream of time is transitory. It has a big belly. It holds an endless number of people in it. Time is continuously swallowing everything. Whosoever is born will die. Whatsoever is created will be ceased. What has beginning will come to an end. All the process and actions will be lost into nothingness. Therefore, don't be too eager about time. Don't take too much interest in time. Go beyond time. You must have noticed there is a great deal of time consciousness in Western countries. Why? Because the more materialistic a country becomes, the more time conscious it becomes. The more spiritual a person becomes, the less time conscious he becomes. The very meaning of spirituality is that we have begun to move outside of time, to slip outside of time. Have you known moments when time has disappeared? These are divine moments. Sometimes watching the sunrise, you disappeared into meditation so deeply. Your joy within settled so deeply, to the point you forget time, that you did not remember how much time has passed. Or one, while you were looking at the moon, or listening to music, or sitting next to your beloved holding hands, you forgot time. Or once, even in your aloneness, without any reason, sitting down doing nothing, you forgot all about time. You did not remember how much time has passed, how much time had gone. When did the moments come and go? It is these moments that you have first taste of samadhi, no mind. Wild times, commentaries on Dogen Senji's being time. At the edge of each moment, on this side the past is gone, on this side the future has not happened, and in the center is nothing at all. Because this moment is utterly ungraspable, is already gone. Enter completely into this moment, and you will enter not only into that which contains all time and expresses itself as all times, all moments, but you will fall into that which has no time, no space, no dimension, because it is that in which all dimensions, all spaces, all times arise. So it is in the present in which everything arises, all dimensions, all spaces, all times arise. So with this, that is in each moment. So at the edge of the moment, the past is gone and the future is not yet happened. It every time comes and goes. Like present is there, the past is already gone and the future is yet to come. That is the moment. That is the moment of infinity. So that is a very complicated and good topic. So we had a lengthy discussion on this. So with this, we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.